Hi Patreon members, today we're doing the second part of the colourway that we did last week, this one here, so in these orangey blues. So we did that with a long colour change, and I did ask last week for anyone that wanted to influence what I spun this week for a 2-ply and a 2-ply and a 3-ply on a short colour change. So yeah, we've got this roving, which is the second one that I did from last week, the exact same colours, exact same layout in the tray, i.e. the same way that I put the dies onto the wool. So this one is up and down the tray, so it's long lengths of it, and then I do the colours across. So that's what we've come up with. Now remember we was talking about colour theory or colour therapy the other week there, a couple of weeks ago. If you caught that video, it's up here on, you can scroll back and you'll find it from about 2 weeks ago. And I was on about when you put colours that look really nice together, like oranges and blues and stuff like that, you can't really put them together when they're in the die tray. And the reason why, and that's not to say you can't, because I do it all the time, but the reason as to why, and that's why I've gone with these colours this time round, is because the dies split and you end up with an amalgamation of colours, and it looks more brown here, fawny, than it does actually the peachy tones that it should be. So it does make it muddy. It does dilute the intensity of the colour that I was hoping for. See, like that, you've got brown splodges in there, and then instead of having a peachy tones, it's gone more fawny. So we'll see what this is like. But what I'm going to do first is split it literally in half. It's a 100-gram roving, and I'm going to just split it in half in the middle. So I'll grab my two ends. Right. And this is the Punto and Aries that I was using the other week, the exact same wool. I love spinning this stuff. It's so soft. Very similar feel to your merinos. So I'm going to put one piece to one side and one section here, and I'm literally going to split it in half all the way down the full length. And I'm going to do the fractal. This is fractal spin, so I'm still doing a fractal spin because we're carrying this video on from last week. So do a fractal spin on short colour changes, just so we can see the comparison of it, right? So I'm going to put my thicker section, first half, to one side, and I'm going to put that to one side here, and then the next piece I'm going to again split in half. Okay, I'll split this in half all the way down from top to tail, beginning to end, and put one piece to the side. Now you can just go with these three sections and spin them off, but I'm going to split this piece again. So that's the piece that we just split in half. This is its other half, okay, and I'm going to split this one again. There we go. Split that again all the way down to the bottom. Can get a little bit fiddly because it starts to get really thin. Okay, so I'm going to go like that, one piece, and then I've got another piece. I'm going to split this one again. And what I want to try and make sure I do this time is actually spin the same colour ends from end to end. So in here I've got this really murky, dirty, fawny brown, and I should end off with a softer peach. So that's that piece. So there's my murky brown, and there is my softer peach. Just double check that I've got this the right way around. So there's my murky brown. See, it's a dirty tones in there. Well, it's not dirty, it's not dirty wool, it's just the colours and the dye pigment split. And there's my softer peachy colour. So there we go. And I'll do the same with this one. See, there it is. And I'm going to spin that around my hand. There's my softer peach. And just double check that I've got this going. There we go. So when I go to spin these on my bobbin in a bit, right, this one I'm going to go off and spin on my own. The 3-ply one, I will sit and spin bits with you, because otherwise you'll be here all day long right? So I just want to talk you through the gist of how to do a 3-ply if you've never tried it before. Most of you probably have, but this is just how I do it. Okay, so we have got this one, which is half of the original roving. Okay, so I'll spin that all off on one bobbin, so that's why it's put to one side, and then I'm left with these 4 little pieces. So because I'm starting with the peachy colour on that one, I want to do the same here. So I just try and make sure that I've got the exact same colour going all the way through from beginning to end. Now you don't have to. You don't have to. If you wanted to, you could start off on your bobbin on your first half, spin it off like that, and then on your second half start with a murkier colour if you wanted to, and spin them all off, and then apply it all off together afterwards. It's up to you which order you do it in. You just have to make sure that every time you put your new piece connected when you're doing the smaller ones, is that it's the same colour transition that you started with and you end with, and then when you go to connect, it's the same one that you started when you put them together. Okay, so for this case it would be, I'm starting with the peachy colour when I'm spinning it on, and I end with that murky colour. If I can find it, it's in here somewhere. I end with the murky colour, so when I go to join this on, I should end up with the peachy colour joining onto the murky end. You just want to make sure that you're doing it in the same transition completely, because that's when I made my mistake on this one. I'm going to end up redoing, respinning it and swatching up again, because that's what I did wrong. Somehow, some here in this section here, instead of doing a peach to blue, I ended up doing a blue to blue without realizing what I was doing. It could have been at a moment when I'm filming and I'm talking at the same time and I've just grabbed the next piece. So that's how I've ended up with such a long transition there, because that's the blue section. This should have been more orange, or at least a bit more orangey colour in there in comparison to what it already does. So I'm going to have to respin that just to make sure, because in my mind that's how it should look. So I'm going to respin up what I've got left from doing this, and see if that's actually the case, if I maybe put it wrong. I might not have, but in my mind I feel like I should have more peach. So I'm going to do that in my own time, and we'll get back to that another day. So yeah, so that bobbin is my 2-ply. So I'll be spinning that bobbin off with this bobbin, doing a fractal, and then plying them off together. And I'll do that off on my own, because you've already seen me do that. This is just different because it's going to be short colour changes. Okay, this is the other one. Now this one is a little bit different. Okay, I'm going to lower you down. It's a long length, so bear with me. I'll lower you down so you can see what I'm doing. One second, do so. There we go. Right, so we've got a longer length. We've got the same length as what we had to start with. Oh, excuse my cup of coffee there. Can't work without coffee. So, but what I'm going to do is, instead of splitting it into half, I'm going to split it into 3 sections. So I want to just open it up a little bit. There's always a middle of a roving. There we go. There's my middle. So I'm just going to tease that open a little bit, because I've got to split it into 3 sections, because it's going to get spun onto 3 bobbins. And this again is a fractal as well, but it's up to you how you do your fractal. So you just splits all around the place. You're never quite sure where the middle is. It seems to move from front to back. Right, there we go. So I just want to, it's just for me, I feel like I need to just open it up a little bit so I feel like I can get 3 sections. So from here, I want to pull there and then try and equal them out feel wise to them being about the same. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for about the same amount of weight of fibre between them. So what I'm going to do is pull this section here now all the way down to the end. Right, so there's one. Just put that to one side. So that's 1/3. And then come back up to the top where we started this. And then again, split that all the way down to the bottom. There we go. So now we have three piles from that 50 grams. Okay, so with one, I'm going to get that end there, that murky end, try and make sure I got the same. I've got this like whitey colour here. So put that one to one side, okay? I'm not going to touch that at all. The next one, I'm literally going to split that. And these all get spun off on the same bobbin, right? So I'm going to split this down the middle. There we go. So there we have, there's one, and there's the other half. Okay, so that'll get spun off onto another bobbin. So it's my first bobbin, my second bobbin, and the next one. Split this 3 ways. So if I split it in half again, like I did with that one, like that, and we end up with one little piece. Okay, put that there, and I'm going to split this one again in half. Now you can split this one as many times as you want to. It's up to you how you want to do it. This is just how I thought I will do this and make it a little bit easier for me, because I've then got to go and ply it off and remember what order they're all in and all the rest of it. So there we have three piles. 1 second, this I want to do the other way. Okay, so there we've got these lot here, these 3 all get spun off into one bobbin. These 2 will get spun off onto one bobbin, and then this will get spun off on its own onto a bobbin. And then what my plan is to ply these 2 off together, and then once those applied, I will then ply this with this, and that'll be my 3 ply. Now I need to keep them in separate thingies. So we had a 50 gram roving and we split it in half. That's that one. And then we didn't split it in half, we split it into 3 sections. Okay, with 3 sections, 3 bits all the way down. So that's one that I've not done anything with. Put it to one side, it's going to get spun off on its own on a bobbin. This one, the second third, it got split in half top to tail, and then that will get spun off on my second bobbin. And then this one got split 3 ways, in half and then in half again, and then them ones are going to get split off, spun off onto one bobbin, and they'll all get together. So the results will be quite interesting with that. So I'll get back to you once I'm at the phase of getting these spun up, and I'll have a little chat with you about what you need to think about while you're spinning up for a 3 ply yarn. So there's a little bit of technique in there, but it's nothing to worry about. Many of you have done it, some of you may not have tried, but yeah, you just need to make sure you've got 3 bobbins to put them on and 1 spare. If you don't have more than 3 bobbins, I'm sure you could just roll the larger one up into, because it's the easiest one to manage, your larger one, your larger third, the one that's not been split or prepped, roll up into centre pull ball. If you have problems like that, I know I do stuff like that, roll up into centre pull ball and then ply off with 2 balls together. Sometimes I just can't bother going looking for the other bobbin. But there we go. So I'll get back to you once we're on the go and on the move. The other one I'll go off and get spun up the now. So I'll catch you in a bit. Hi, so there is the result of the Fractal 2 ply that we did the other day, and that I did the other day after showing you how to prep the wool in the short colour transitions. So I'll pop a picture up here so you can get a proper look at it, but it's turned out really quite interesting. And what we're going to do next is the 3 ply. Well, I thought this is actually a better idea. I'll do 3-ply in another video for another type of prep, okay? Partly because I know a lot of you don't all have loads of bobbins sitting around. I know that there's quite a lot of people out there that literally have 3 bobbins and that's all they've got to work with. So there is a technique called Crepe, and it is a 3-ply, but you end up with slightly, it's the way that, it's not the way that it ends up, it's the way that you do it that makes it different from your usual 3-ply, where you would spin all your singles in one direction and ply them all up together in an opposite direction. In this technique, you spin up your two singles, okay, in the Z direction or the right direction, but you want to add in extra twist, because you're going to put that to one side once that's plied up. Then you're going to get your other single and you're going to spin that up in the S direction, okay, and then you're going to apply the 2-ply with your single in the Z direction right again, okay. So you're with me, I will guide you through it as I'm doing it, but I'm doing this as a fractal in a short colour change and in this Crepe 3-ply sort of technique, okay. So it's 3 singles, 2 applied together. You want to put in an over twist. You want to, if you treadle say 4 times to get this rotation on your wheel, okay, add in another 2. You want an extra twist because of what you're doing. And then so you're doing 2 plies to the right of the wheel, okay, or the Z direction. You're going to then ply them in the S direction or to the left, and then you're going to let that bobbin sit there on your lazy Kate. Then you're going to come over and spin up another single, but you're spinning in the S to the left. But then when you go to ply it with your 2-ply yarn, you're going to spin it in the right direction of your wheel or the Z, okay. You with me? Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. So I have got my 3rd, which I'm going to leave this one to the last. I'm going to use this as my single, but I have got the 2 other sections. There's the other 3rd that is split into 2. That's going to go in 1 bobbin, and I'm going to spin that in the Z direction. And then here's the 3 little pieces that we did off the other third, of the last 3rd, and that I'm going to spin again in the Z direction. And then I'm going to apply these 2 together, and then I'm going to apply them with this one. That's what my brain's thinking. I'm sort of debating whether I really want to spin that one with the 3 colour changes, which I think I will. I'm hoping that it might change the definition, and then save these 2 for doing my S ply. Yeah, my singles ply. Okay, so that's what we're going to get on with. Simple along. I will just spin and I will cutting it out. I'll spin for a bit, and then I'll come back to you when I spin the next section on the other bobbin, and then I'll come back to you when we ply them together, so you'll see bits and pieces, because otherwise we'll be here for hours, and I'm sure you've got other things that you'd rather be doing. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do, so I'll catch you in a sec. Okay, so I've got my roving. I'm going to start with the dusky end. Remember I was on about that the other day, so that's what I'm starting with on these. And I'm just going to open up this roving a little bit, just so it's easier to draft as I go along. I'm just going to tease it open a little bit, just so it's not compacted in there, because I've not steamed them, because, well, it's only for me spinning with, so there's no reason for me to steam it, and it's not been sat in a braid in my storage box, so it's not really compacted as it would be if it'd been braided up. It's literally just been sat there since it come out the dye pan, waiting for me for this task. Okay, so where are we at? So I want my graying end. Is it graying end? Yes, I do. This one here. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to just get going. Make sure my tension's fine on my bobbin. There we go. I don't often do spinning in this part of the house, so it's going to be, oh, we want to go in the opposite direction, so I'm spinning that way. It's because my go-to's in the S direction and then applying the Z, but this time I need, one minute, I need to change over this leader yarn. There we go. I need to spin in the Z for this actual technique that we're doing. Back with the squeaky treadle again. I honestly, I give up trying to sort out this treadle at the moment. It's not been the same since I actually pulled bits apart to clean it all up on that video a couple of weeks, the other month there. But I never even touched the treadle, so I don't know why he's being funny. It's like, you forgot about me. I'm like, no, I didn't, mate. You're my favourite bit of the wheel. So, yeah, I'm just spinning it as I go. And you want to make sure that once you've filled up a small section, you are constantly changing up through your hooks on your wheel, on your flyer, so you get an even balance on your bobbin. So every so often I just flip it over so I can try and keep the same colour transitions through. Don't know where that's come from. So I could try and separate the colours a little bit, so I'm not pulling up a load of lighter shades through a darker section at the same time. There we go. So I'm just going to have a little look at my bobbin. Yep, I'm going to move it up to the next one. You just keep going on with this blue, and it's just starting to fill up nicely. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's me done 6 treadles. So it's more than I normally do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll go 7. So I want to feel that energy. 6, 7. I can feel the energy in the yarn tension up even more than what it would normally do if I did my usual 4 to 5. I'm going for about 7 on this now, adding an extra 3 because I want to make sure that this Z ply, this Z spin single has got lots of energy in it, so because it's going to get plied twice. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's me starting to change colour now. So I'm just gonna go on to my next hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm just going to keep going on like that. And as I say, you can feel it pinching in your finger when you've added that little bit more in there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And keep going. There we go. Sorry, the light's not brilliant. Well, actually, it's not too bad. It's got a bit of a yellow glow. It's because we're downstairs. It's warm. It's a little bit warmer down here, And there's a doggy downstairs that's not done all of her morning business, so I'm keeping an eye on her because she will do upstairs if I'm not watching her. So that's another reason why I'm downstairs today. There we go. So I'm going on to my next one now. Can you see the colours transitioning along my flyer? There we go. So radio silence. Sorry, I'm concentrating. So I'll let you go. I will spin off the rest of this roving, and then I'll come back to you when we get on to the next section, because this one is the long one. This is the full third, and I'm nearly halfway through this one anyway, and we'll get back to you in a sec when we get these ones going. So I've spun off that second lot of rovings in the 3 parcels, 3 little nests. So I'm on my last piece and again I'm starting with the sort of beigey end where it's muddied in the water in the dye pot. Now remember when I was did that video a couple of weeks ago about the colour theory, and when I was talking about I think it was complementary or analogous, can't remember which one it was, when I mentioned that colours that work well together, like greens and purples and oranges and blues and things like that, and that even though these work well together as a unit, but when you're dyeing them you have to be really careful because they do come out muddied, or can come out muddied or a brown in them. So this, you can see where the peach has been quite close to the blue, and it's actually changed its colour. See, here we go, there's an intersection where the peach is, and it's actually turned it into a grey sort of colour. There's another section over here as well where it's muddied into a brown. So that you have to be careful with and look into that, and I will talk to you at some point soon about using a pot to dye with, so that you can get really good clean sectional colour changes. And I'll pop a picture up here of one that I did recently. Okay, right, so we're still spinning this. On a minute, I need to move on to my next hook. We're still spinning this in the Z direction, i.e. the right way of my wheel, because this is my second singles, and this one and the one we've just done with the thicker third, well, that hadn't been split. We're going to apply these up in a moment. So I'm still doing my 8 treadles each time I'm drafting out. And I'm just doing this all the way through. You just want to add in, you're not over spinning it, you're just adding more twist. Okay, so just keep on doing this as I go through. Because I've fanned it out a little bit as well, even though it's a really skinny section of roving, and the colours change really quickly because it is so thin. So you get through it really quick. I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, I lost my thought completely there. So I'm just spinning this up. It'll come back to me in a minute. I'm having a brain fog moment, so bear with me, ladies. Or gents, if we've got any gents that are watching this video. So there we go. So yeah, because it's been dyed up in the tray in the how I showed you in the lengthways with the colour striping across it, so you get shorter colour sections. You do have to just be a little bit careful if you're wanting shorter colour sections when you're dyeing it like that. You can sort of do a repeated colour sections if you were using a pot to dye with, because you don't have a tray, or you don't want to do it that way and you want cleaner colour sections, like next joins. It is possible to do that. It's just a lot more fiddlier than anything, so I prefer to do it in my tray. So you just have to take that into consideration and into mind that these colours will muddy together, not loads, but you just want to be careful about your colours sitting together and what you're potentially going to end up with. It might not be what you hoped for, but that's not to say you can't work with it. And because this is a peach with blue, and then if it's got the muddying into it a grey, brown or a beigey colour, those colours go with this anyway. So it's just something to think about when you go to do it yourself at home. Sometimes the mistakes work out the best in the results, which you probably could never repeat again, even if you tried. So I'm just going to, I'm going to go on to my next little section. I'm just going to twist that over a little bit. Coming up to my second to last section of peach. Oh dear, it's awful cold here today. We had 16 degrees yesterday, and then it's dropped right back down to like 7-8 degrees, and there's a proper chill in the air and a bit of a wind, so I've got a little bit of a runny nose. You could probably just hear me cooking in the background, so I do apologise. I'm cooking beef shin stew with ale, so yeah, something warm and hearty for dinner, and probably some Yorkshire puddings to go with it. Yum yum yum. Right, so we're nearly at the end of this, and then we'll get on with plying. We've got the fun inspectors in here. The oldest one, who's now just lay on the floor, is not impressed because I usually sit on the sofa and do this. But because I'm sat on the dining chair, she's like, that's just not funny. Why aren't you sat on the spinning chair, Mum? No, watch out the way. Right, a little extra twist in there. And that's that bobbin done. And now I'm going to take this off, swap them over, and I'll be back with you in a minute so we can ply them up. So I've got my two yarns, and I'm plying them on here now in the bobbin. So we'll see the fractal colour changes, short colour changes throughout as I do this. And we'll just keep, I'm going to stop and start quite a bit because I want to make sure that I have a really good. So we're spinning it in the Z, so we're going left this time because we spun them in the right. You can you see that I've got quite a bit of twist in there, which is what I want to see. I want to see it doing its S back on itself, so I know it's going to have plenty of energy in there for when we come to spin it back in the Z with the single in a moment. So you say when you're doing it like this, you just want to make sure that your singles have got at least 2-3 extra treadles in there, just to put in a little more twist if that's how you spin and treadle anyway, so it looks really good when it plies back and doubles up like that, then they're roughly about right for what you're needing. I don't. I tend to loosely spin up for about 4 or 5 treadles when I'm doing my singles. I generally find that I get a really lovely balanced yarn after that, and all I have to do is steam set it, and I'm quite happy with the way that is. I like a really loose yarn, mostly because when I weave with a lot of my hand spun yarns, or I use them in peg loom rugs, I'm not looking to spin yarn so I can use them for hard wearing items like socks. But I'm quite impressed with my singles and how thin they are. I'm very impressed about this. I've got quite a good consistency. It just goes to show, get back onto the wheel again now for a little while and do it every week like I've been doing for these videos, and my spinning starts to fall back into place again. And the right preparation on your roving always helps as well. Even if it's a little skinny piece like what you saw I was using, just by fluffing out the roving a little bit or steaming it first just to open up those fibre molecules in there, those fibres that are compacted together, and then just fluff them out before, like you're drafting. It just really helps you having to fight and tug with the drafting triangle of the roving. Right, I just need to move this over a section. There we go. There we go. So I'll keep on doing this and I will get to you in a sec once this bobbin's done, and we're about to do the last third, which was split into 2. I will be doing that as a single in a second, and then we've got the 3-ply section, or crepe is the proper terminology for this type of yarn that we're doing. C-R-E-P-E. Okay, so my third step that I've got to do now, so we've done, there we go, applied 1 and 2 singles firstly in the Z, and then we applied them in the S, so they're all done, neat and tidy, sat on the bobbin, so we'll put that over here for now. Now I've got, so that's my first, second, third step. Yeah, applied 2, not spun 2, applied them, so that's 3 steps. Now the 4th step is my next 2 fractal spins, the last 2 of that last third. So put one to one side. I've already fluffed it open, as you can see. It looks a little bit wider than the other one. Okay, so again, I'm going to spin this now in my normal direction, which is my S twist. I'm going to spin it as I would do normally. I'm not really going to put any extra twist into there because it'll be applied with this bobbin here in the Z twist afterwards, so it should all balance itself out. Okay, so I'm just going to spin it as I would normally do. You just need to put the tension up a bit and spin it as usual, 3, 4, 5, and just keep spinning it as I would normally do, and then put the other section on, and then we'll do the ply in about a few minutes. Won't take long to do this one, and I'll get back to you on that now that they're done. So it seems like a bit more of a longer transition, but I'm doing a fractal anyway. If you were doing a 3-ply yarn in 3 singles, it'd probably take you just as long, especially if you want to do a fractal anyway. So I think this is a really great way and a great alternative if you've got a 2-ply bobbin sat on your wheel or waiting to be used for something, and then you spin up a single, you're like, oh, I wonder what this looks like. if you're somebody that naturally puts an extra twist into a yarn anyway, then you could get away with plying up a single and then plying them together to make a three ply yarn, or a crepe yarn alternative to a 3-ply yarn. Yeah, it's a really handy way. I thought it was one of those ones that I would give you a shout out about, because I don't think I've ever actually mentioned it on any of my videos before about spinning. I've done Navajo spinning, which I love doing, chain spinning. I love doing that technique. So this is a new one I thought I would let you know about. You probably already do it anyway. I just thought, well, I'll do this because I haven't filmed this technique before. So I shall let you get on, and well, I'll get on and I'll be back with you in a few. Okay, are you ready? Ready to ply your single with your plied yarn to make I suppose to a point it's a faux 3-ply, but it's crepe. So there's lots of different ways that you can spin yarn to create different effects. This one is one of them, and it's one of my favorite ways to spin up a 2-ply yarn with a single yarn. So there we go, they're both together, so you can see this one is slightly thicker. That's the 2-ply, and there's my single. You could do this with a manufactured yarn, or say a mohair yarn that you've bought from the shop, so that you want access to, but you don't want too much mohair in your final knitted project. You could do something like that, not a problem. So we're going to now spin, because we spun the single in the S direction to the left of my wheel. I am now going to spin in the Z direction, the right side. Excuse my dog trying to kill itself. The right side of my wheel. So here we go. We're spinning this now. We've got our tension all sorted. And we're off. This is the point when you start to think, am I going to be playing yarn chicken at the end of it? Who knows? Hopefully we've got the single spun about the right length for the actual plied yarns. But really, I just want to show you what the effect is afterwards. And it'll be nice hard wearing yarn, this one as well. You can use it for your socks, you can use it for gloves. Not a problem, because it is essentially, in essence, a 3-ply yarn. It's still 3 strands of yarn plied together. Alright, just want to just sort out my tension a little on my wheel. So hopefully you've put enough twist in your singles for your plied yarn before you get to this stage, and you'll just feel the effects as you're spinning along, because that extra energy will help this combine together really, really nicely. Right, so I will catch you in a second. See the wheel, the bobbin there? There we go. So I'll catch you in a second when I'm nearly at the end of this, and then I'll get it up on the niddy noddy and we'll take a look at them. Right, so that's the crepe one done, or the 2-ply with a single ply. So let's see how it's turned out. It's got a texture to it, and what it looks like is a little bit like a coarse spun wool. This will need steamed in there, steam set, because obviously it's got quite a bit of twist in it. It's got a bit more energy than what I'd normally put in there, but obviously I've had to for this reason. So if you look at that, you can see, let me see if I can try and get it with the light. You can see that you've got a 2-ply with a wraparound single. So it's giving it a textured look, like crepe paper, you know, the tissuey type paper that's got that little wrinkle feel in it, hence the name Crepe. So that's what we've gone with, and I think it's a really unique looking yarn. We will I'll get this knitted up into a swatch so you can see the results of it once it's been steamed. I'll have to steam this downstairs. So there we go. So look at this, there's quite a bit of energy in there. I'll get a proper photograph and I'll pop that up in a second. So that is the crepe yarn. Just twist it up. Twisty, twisty, twisted. Okay, and then yeah, so that's a crepe yarn, and then that is my standard 2-ply yarn done as well. So any comments that you'd like to add, or any information that you think you might have missed or something like that, just drop them in the comments below, or they're on Patreon or below on this video. Don't forget to hit that like. It really does help, even though it's a privately linked video to you guys on Patreon. It really does help the algorithms and informs YouTube that you are watching and that I'm giving you really good content, or content that's acceptable, whatever. Anyway, you take care of yourselves. I shall catch you catch you next week. I will have the swatches for these both done so we can have a look at them. I'll put pictures up in the chat on Patreon as well so you can see what the swatches look like. I would do the swatches today. Well, I'm going to knit the swatches up anyway, but it's going to take me a day or two to get them done and washed and steamed, and it's Monday now, so I want you to get this video. You guys go off and try this crepe technique and let me know what you think of it, and then next week when I come back with a different video, another prep, but I might do the pot dye one with you so that you can see how to do transitional colours without them bleeding too much, or at least more static transitions. So yeah, that's what I'll do next week, but I'll show you the swatches for these and we'll compare all three of them from this colourway on the next video. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you haven't already, go back and watch last week's video. There's a surprise on there for you guys to let you know what I've been up to in the background, and I'll put a Q&A Woolly Cottage logo up for you to start putting down your comments, suggestions or questions or queries or just anything silly down on there, and then I can give you an update on my top secret project that we've got going on in the background. Anyway, take care for now, and I'll speak to you soon.